You're at the register. The cashier smiles. Want to save 15% today? Just open our card. Takes 2 minutes. Most people say yes without thinking twice. It feels like a small, generous gift for doing something that barely registers as a decision. Here's the real question. Why does the store want you on this card so badly? Not the bank behind it, the store itself. Why train a cashier to push this in the 60 seconds before you pay, sometimes with a bonus tied to how many sign-ups they get that shift? The honest answer has almost nothing to do with the discount they're giving up. It has everything to do with two things they get in return: the interest you'll likely pay, and something far more valuable that most people never think about at all. Exactly what you buy, down to the last item on your receipt. Let's start with a number most people never see. Every time you swipe a regular Visa or MasterCard, the store pays a fee, usually around 2 to 3% of the sale, just for the privilege of accepting that card. Across millions of transactions a year, that adds up to a genuinely massive cost eaten out of retail margins, one of the largest line items most shoppers never think about at all. A store-branded card lets the retailer sidestep a meaningful chunk of that fee, since it's often issued through a partnership structured specifically to keep more of that transaction revenue in-house instead of handing it to an outside card network. That's real money, and on its own it would already justify pushing the card. But it's not actually the main event, it's the entry fee for something bigger. Here's what a regular credit card purchase tells a bank. You spent $84 at a certain store on a certain date. That's it. The bank doesn't know if that $84 was groceries, a jacket, or a birthday gift. The store, in fact, doesn't even know who you are beyond a card number. A store-branded card flips that completely. It tells the retailer everything, not just the total. Every single item, the brand, the size, the category, the exact combination of things you bought together, and how that combination shifts over time, all attached to one identity. They can track visit after visit. That's not spending data. That's a detailed, ongoing record of your actual life, built one receipt at a time. This isn't hypothetical. Retailers have spent years building models that read shifts in what you buy as signals for what's happening in your life, often before you've told anyone. A sudden shift toward unscented lotion and vitamin supplements can signal a pregnancy. A spike in moving boxes, storage containers, or address-adjacent purchases can signal a move. Subtle changes in a household's combined shopping pattern, single-serving portions replacing family-sized ones, can signal a relationship ending. None of this requires you to say a word. The purchases say it for you, weeks or months before the life event becomes something you'd tell another person. Once a retailer's model flags one of these moments, the marketing that follows isn't generic. It's built specifically for people going through exactly what you're going through, timed to reach you while you're at your most receptive and often your most emotionally distracted. A newly expecting household gets offers tuned to nesting and preparation. A household that's just moved gets offers tuned to filling a new space room by room. That's not a coincidence, and it's not guesswork. That's the entire point of collecting purchase data at that level of detail in the first place, and it's a level of targeting a plain credit card swipe simply cannot produce. Now here's where the second half of this system kicks in, and it's the part almost nobody reads the fine print on. Deferred interest. You've seen the promotion. No interest if paid in full within 12 months. It sounds like a safety net. Here's what it actually means. If you clear the entire balance before the deadline, you genuinely owe nothing extra. But if you're even 1 day late or even $1 short, the interest doesn't start from that missed date. It gets applied retroactively, backdated to the original purchase date, calculated on the full original amount, not just what's left. Say you financed an $1,800 purchase under that 12-month promotion. You pay it down responsibly for 11 months, down to your last $60. Something comes up. You're a few weeks late clearing it. The card doesn't charge interest on that last $60. It charges a full year of interest on the entire original $1,800, as if your 11 months of payments never happened, often at a rate near 30%, well above what a typical general-purpose credit card charges. Put another number on it. That same $1,800 balance, carried at close to 30% for a full year under a retroactive charge, can add several $100s in interest that would never have applied to a standard, non-deferred purchase, paid down the exact same way, $1 short at the very end. The gap between almost paid it off and missed the deadline by a few weeks isn't a rounding error. It's often the single most expensive mistake a cardholder can make on that account, larger than a year of normal interest on a card without the deferred structure at all. That mechanic alone generates more consumer complaints than almost any other credit card feature that exists. It isn't a flaw in the system. It is the business model. The promotion is generous enough on the surface that you finance a bigger purchase than you otherwise would, while the actual terms are strict enough that a real percentage of cardholders miss the deadline and get hit with the full retroactive charge on purpose, by design, priced into how the entire promotion is structured from the start. Here's where these two mechanics meet, and it's the part worth sitting with. The data doesn't just sell you things. It's used to time offers, promotions, and just-for-you discounts around the exact moments you're already financially stretched, moving, expanding a household, adjusting to a life change, precisely when a deferred interest promotion at checkout looks most appealing and least risky. You're not just being sold a discount at a register. You're being offered credit at the exact moment the retailer's own data suggests you're most likely to say yes, financing a purchase that's larger than you'd normally make and least likely to fully account for the deadline sitting quietly in the fine print, while you're distracted by everything else going on in your life at that exact moment. The card isn't one tool doing one job. It's two systems working together. One that profits from what you buy and how well it can predict your next move, and one that profits from what you owe and how likely you are to miss a strict deadline while distracted, both aimed at the same person. At the moments that person is easiest to reach and least equipped to read fine print carefully. None of this means every store card is a trap by default. If you already shop somewhere often, pay balances in full before any deadline, and you're comfortable with a company holding a detailed record of your purchases, the math can genuinely work in your favor. Plenty of people use these cards exactly this way for years without issue. The problem is walking into that decision without knowing what you're actually agreeing to on either side of it. Here's what actually helps if a cashier offers you one of these at checkout. Ask directly whether the promotion is deferred interest or a true 0% APR offer. They are not the same thing, and the difference decides whether a missed payment costs nothing extra or costs a full year of retroactive interest on the entire original purchase. If it's deferred interest, write the exact deadline somewhere you'll actually see it. Not just trust yourself to remember it 11 months from now. Set a reminder at least 2 weeks ahead of that date, not the day before. So, a busy week doesn't cost you the entire promotion. Check the card's regular APR before signing up, separate from the discount being offered at the register. If it's meaningfully higher than a card you already carry, that gap outweighs a one-time discount the moment any balance survives past a single billing cycle. And if a store's app or loyalty program asks for purchase history access beyond what's needed to process a return or track a warranty, know what you're actually trading for that convenience. It's not a neutral permission. It's the same data being used to model exactly when to reach you next and with what offer. If this helped you see what's actually happening at the checkout counter, subscribe. This channel breaks down exactly this kind of thing every week. The parts of money nobody explains clearly the first time.